This YCN special is brought to you by Beltate's Building Product Specialist. No matter the projects, their experts will get you the materials you need. Baba's Bar and Grill. Baba's has all your favorites and much more. MJ Harrington and Company, jewelers and designers since 1948. Ledyard National Bank. Plan well, live well. And by New London Recreation.
Would Class Marshals Gabriella Von Behren and Corbin Montminy please come to the stage? We want to congratulate Gabrielle and Corbin for being selected by the class of 2018 as marshals for today's ceremony. At this time, I would like to invite the members of the KRHS Chorus to the front of the stage. We have some special guests with us here today. We have invited the class of 2030 to the front of the stage, where they will lead us in the singing of God Bless America under the direction of kindergarten teacher Pam Colinero. Would you all please rise for the presentation of today's colors? Colors will be presented today by the United States Marine Corps and Boy Scout Troop 71. The class of 2030 will lead us in the pledge, followed by the national anthem sung by the KRHS Chorus under the direction of Robert Harrington and accompanied by William Augmenton.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
We'd like to thank the class of 2030 and Mrs. Colinero for their wonderful performance today, as well as our high school choral.
deepest rivers. You can have it all, but life keeps moving. I take it in, but don't look down, 'cause I'm on top of the world, hey. I'm on top of the world, hey. Taking my legs for a while now, getting my juice to the dirt. I've been ready to smile, hey. Been holding it in for a while, hey. Take you with me if I can. Been dreaming of this as a child. I'm on top of the world. I tried to cut these corners, tried to take the easy way out. I kept on falling short of something. I could have gave up then, but then again I couldn't have, 'cause I've traveled all this way. Something I take it in, but don't look down, 'cause I'm on top of the world, hey. I'm on top of the world, hey. Take my legs for a while now, take my juice to the dirt. I've been waiting to smile, hey. Been holding it in for a while, hey. Take you with me if I can. Dreaming of this as a child. I'm on top of the world. Whoa, 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 I'm on top of the world, hey. I'm on top of the world, hey. Taking on this for a while now, paying my dues to the dirt. I've been waiting to smile, hey. Been holding it in for a while, hey. Take you with me if I can. And dreaming of this as a child. And I know it's hard when you're falling down, and it's a long way up when you make it round. But get up now, get up now. And I know when it's hard when you're falling down, and it's a long way up when you make it round. Get up now, get up now. I'm on top of the world, it's hard when you're falling down in the world, hey. Up when you make it round, so get up now, get up now. I've been waiting to smile, it's hard when you're falling down in the world, hey. Up when you make it round, get up now, get up now. I'm on top of the world.
It is my pleasure to now introduce the superintendent of SAU 65, Winfred Fenneberg.
Good morning. Dear graduates of Kearsarge Regional High School, dear parents, faculty and staff, dear honored guests. Today, we celebrate a wonderful accomplishment these young men and women have attained: graduation from high school. Your special day has finally arrived. After 12 long years, or 2,160 school days, minus a few Kearsarge blizzard bag days, you are ready to go out into the world and start your careers, pursue a college degree, or serve our country in the armed services. All of you have made a choice that suits you and that will bring you closer to the fulfillment of your hopes and dreams. In fact, you had to make a choice, because after today, you will, without exception, no longer be a Kearsarge High School student. Done, finished, and in less than an hour from now, you will have turned from a Kearsarge student to a Kearsarge graduate. So let me reflect for a moment on choice. Choice is all around us. We deal with it all the time. And you will make many choices as you go through life. There will be exciting choices, painful choices, easy choices, choices you regret, and choices that seem as if others make them for you. But what it ultimately comes down to is that you will need to own every single one of those choices. Choices are part of life, and you are in charge of and responsible for your life. Making choices often means making changes, trying something new, doing something different when the opportunity arises, choosing a college, choosing a new town to live in, choosing new friends to surround yourselves with. However, choice and change are not the same. Sometimes the best choice is in fact to choose what you know and love and are familiar with. Sometimes it will be best to stick with what you're used to preserve what you have come to value, and to be steadfast and continue on the road you have already begun to travel. Sometimes status quo will be the right thing to choose. At other times, change will represent the better option. You will need to find out for yourself when it is time to be the rebel and when it is wise to be conventional, when to transform and when to preserve. Today's fast-paced world exerts tremendous pressure on us to make choices quickly and often. Whenever we need to make a decision, we are influenced by social media, manipulated by skillful advertisers, tempted by fantastic deals, enticed by well-meaning friends, and rushed by impatient strangers. We're easily dazzled by the many options we seemingly have, and we can be distracted by superficial appeal. We don't take time, we rush, we jump to conclusions. It is too easy to only think about what's in it for us without deliberately and intentionally considering how our choices impact others. In a world dominated by 5-second sound bites and the promise of simple solutions to complex problems, it is indeed increasingly difficult to make thoughtful, good, and honest choices. And yet, it seems to me that we depend on you to make thoughtful, good, and honest choices as you leave this school and go out to turn the world into a better place. We need you to apply your moral compass when it comes to making decisions. We need you to choose with integrity. We hope and trust that you apply the values that our communities and our schools hold dear, among them respect, responsibility, accountability, civility, diversity, inclusion, and compassion. Your teachers and your parents have given you the tools you need to make good choices. You've worked hard to get ready for the challenges that await you. I ask you to take with you the vision of the Kearsarge School District. I ask you to be an inspired learner, to commit to your community, and to contribute to a dynamic world. Congratulations, class of 2018, and best wishes for the future.
I'm beginning to wonder if a little less wind and a few more bugs would have been better for the day. No? We're fortunate this year to have two student representatives of the class of 2018 that'll be speaking to you today. The first student I'd like to invite to the stage is Lydia Pinard.
Good morning. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Lydia Pinard. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't think I would get the chance to come up here giving this speech to all of you. But as is typical of our grade, nobody submitted a graduation speech on time, including myself. But we're all here now, donned in our blue and gold, on the football field torn up by the folding chairs you are currently sitting in, waiting for the chance to turn our tassels and finish our high school career. I'm here to say two things. The first is cliche, the other is a little different. The first is, today marks the first day of the rest of our lives. Okay, I had to get that out of the way for the parents. The second is a quote from Childish Gambino. He said, "You have to be real with yourself. No one is doing that. People are too concerned with making everything look nice and calm and pretty." And that's what I admire the most about our class. We have always been ourselves. We've never worried about pleasing others, but that doesn't mean we're uninspired. We're a class made up of 124 unique individuals. We are teachers, scientists, leaders, dreamers, engineers, artists, musicians, politicians, and more. We all have potential. I know sometimes it seems as though we haven't made an impact on this school, but we have. We may not have fundraised a lot or been the most spirited group, but we have all touched the lives of those who've attended school with us, and in doing so, have made a difference, and we will continue to do so. The first marks on the moon were just footsteps. And while we cannot see these footprints from Earth, they serve as a symbol of human perseverance, and their impact will always be there. We are just like those footprints. Right now, we may seem inconsequential, but we have endless possibilities of changes we can make in the world, of good we can do in the world. We may think we are ordinary, but the future is ours to shape. My final piece of advice to our class: remember to find the extraordinary in the ordinary, and you will leave your footprint. Thank you, and stay real, Kearsarge.
Next, I would like to invite Shane Wilson to the stage.
Hi, so as he just said, I'm Shane Wilson. How are y'all doing today? Let's go. All right, good morning to the class of 2018, friends, family, our school chorus, and any teachers that chose to join us this fine morning to celebrate our achievements. I'd like to start off by thanking every person that has somehow gotten me to this podium in front of you, representing the best group of kids that I've ever been a part of. I'd like to thank every single one of my teachers that I've ever had, who have suffered with my inability to take criticism, and have taught me that, yes, I am wrong, stop arguing, your answer doesn't make any sense. I'd like to thank my parents for somehow not kicking me to the curb after keeping them up till 2 in the morning, blasting music and doing various homework. I'd like to thank my 2 closest friends, Aiden Brooks and Graydon Sauerwine, that have never left since the age of 12. Haven't figured that one out yet. Without them bringing me back down to earth, pushing me to expand my horizons, and showing me that 3 a.m. is not when I should be going to bed on a Tuesday, I would have never made it here. Lastly, I'd like to thank the US government, weirdly enough. Thank you for being as confusing and as inconsistent as possible in order to mentally prepare us for the real world. From nuclear threats to literally shutting down the government, it has shown me that even with strict rules, guidelines, and a fantastic plan, nothing goes to that plan. I'd like to thank competency-based grading for teaching me how to learn. Yeah. Haven't figured that one out yet. I'm gonna get there. As I continue this speech, I want the class of 2018, all of you, to consider letting go. Don't grasp onto rules like a safety blanket, but ask questions. Press your teachers to give you more knowledge. Question their beliefs. Question your parents' beliefs. And then at the end of the day, question your own beliefs and listen to the answers that you receive. But let me get to my generic and yet insightful journey metaphor that is necessary within every graduation speech to get a proficient with distinction. As this road ends, many more begin. Every person around us has a journey with no destination. That sounds horrible. No destination? How does that make sense? You never stop learning. You never stop growing. You never stop fighting for your beliefs, working on how to speak, working on how to listen, working on how to create the best possible society for all of us. And the thing is, if you do stop, even for a second, you're settling. You're settling for something that isn't exactly what you want. Settling for something that will lead to regret. The one thing that I wish for this class that is standing to my left and right is to never regret. As the wise Aiden Brooks once said, better to send it too hard than to wish you were still sending it. But let me go back to my powerful and complex journey metaphor. Our class's trip to the top, it had a few stops and turns, but we still made it here. From basically not being in school during January to being here in June, to working through the change to summer school, we haven't worked that competency since the second week. We never stopped working. It didn't matter. Throughout all the changes, we never stopped. As we watched our Nordic and endurance sports dominate for the past few years right alongside our strong basketball team, lacrosse team, baseball, football, it didn't matter. It made all the extra days past June 13th worth it. Programs like Model UN and Model Congress gave kids a way to act politically. Clubs from rugby all the way to Yo-Yo Club gave us ways to work at our hobbies. Sports gave us a way to relieve some stress after that day of 3 tests. 3. And our friends gave us an outlet to blow off some steam after we just kept on losing Winter Carnival. But who could forget sophomore year mashed potatoes? That'll live down. The seniors rigging it every year but ours, teachers picking sides but not picking sides apparently, they definitely did. Normally focused students letting go and everyone covering themselves up in purple, orange, red, green, dressing up for different days, getting excited for the vacation that would follow, hyping each other up for every activity, and finally, senior year, that's a dub. We worked day in and day out, chasing our dreams, staying up late and coming in early to work on labs, studying for hours to understand that competency 3 on that one math test, meeting with recruiters to get our future straightened out, and going to numerous college tours and job fairs to find our place in the world. But where was I during all of this, I guess? Pacing the halls, learning from teacher to teacher, as one does, grasping an interest in politics and a disinterest in the other stuff. I was quite content, not really being the face of the class, but being one of the many faces that created its success. A few weeks ago, when I was writing the speech, I wanted to see where I guess I really was during all of this. I strolled through the social studies hallway, reminiscing on how Mr. Garrity showed me a political side of the world that I had never seen. I strolled through the math and science hallways, reminiscing on the one day where I had an 8 a.m. AP bio test and went back for a pre-calc test. What a mistake. I walked through the English wing, where I learned from Dayhoff that maybe I should speak in public. I complained alongside all the rest of the class of 2018 for every test and cheered for every success, either for an individual or for a team. I watched every single one of us grow and strengthen physically and mentally into the young men and women that we are now. With a few token hours of stupidity leading to the infamous Saturday detentions and 1 to 3 day suspensions, I'd like to say our grade was one of the best to come through Kearsarge. Maybe not the brightest, maybe not the strongest, and maybe not the wisest. It sounds mean, but I believe this class has the highest quota. Let me explain. Quotas are used to make sure that during a busy week or a busy month, people get their stuff done. I think if we don't settle, and if we don't stop grinding, we're gonna meet every quota and we're gonna break it. It is my belief that we will achieve more than any grade ever has. Our class of scholars, of hard workers, of disciplined athletes, and of just great overall people will break barriers and shatter expectations across the country, across New Hampshire, and across the world. From kids yearning for LA and DC, to kids never wanting to see the city lights, all the way to kids that won't even be here in 2 hours. I'm proud to say that I know we're all gonna go on and fortify the most successful and yet compassionate world that any of us have ever seen. I also have 200% faith that members of the class of 2018 will only work at McDonald's if they want to. Now, to future classes. Don't ever stop working. It makes no sense to settle for anything. Don't settle for an okay friend, that's no fun. Work until you become like siblings. Don't settle for an okay grade. Work until your teacher tells you you're overdoing it, stop. Don't settle for an okay school experience. Work inside and outside your comfort zone and make it fantastic. Make it so that when you leave this place, as we're about to do, you can look back and you can smile at that building. You can look back and know you left your mark and that you tapped every ounce of success out of the tree of knowledge that is Kearsarge Regional High School. While turning inwards and evaluating yourself and evaluating the past few years, they're both important things to do. We're standing on the brink of a new life. But looking ahead to the future is what's going to create long-lasting success. What key moments are we going to create? Where will we all work? Will we be police officers, sports stars, scholars, professors, teachers, politicians, nurses, tattoo artists, business owners, executives, career military individuals, bankers, or even workers that still make McDonald's the best place to eat? I don't know. Here's the thing. Only we can answer that. But don't worry, we will. We're We're going to push for that raise. We're going to rise in the ranks of the military. We're going to raise families, and we're going to create friendships. And we will bring together one of the most polarized nations on earth. It's up to us, though. This is the one thing that might be hard for parents and other adults in the crowd to swallow, but it needs to be said. No matter how hard parents push, or how much teachers push, or how fast we adapt to the real world, it's up to us to create and strengthen our futures. Our society's success relies on us and our independence, our ability to make crucial, crunch-time decisions, and our ability to never give up on a job and to never give up on another person. Without that drive, without that constant work, and without that personal desire to improve and succeed, we will not be the best Americans we can be. Now I'm at the part of Mr. Dayhoff's rubric where it says, in order to achieve a proficient with distinction, I need to include a wise quote or two by someone philosophically inclined. So I'm going to do that. A wise young lady once told me, sometimes, Shane, I'm scared to say the wrong thing because I think people will think differently of me if I speak my thoughts and emotions. She followed that by saying, that's funny, I don't actually care. And I think that's a great mindset. It sounds hard and it sounds almost ignorant. But as a final message to the class of 2018, use your voice to change the world and never suppress yourself to protect others. Work for everything and be proud of your ideas. This has been Shane Wilson, signing out for now. Peace.
Tough acts to follow. At this point, we are going to move into the part of the ceremony where we will have the presentation of diplomas. I would like to invite Ken Bartholomew, the chairman of the KRSD School Board, to present the diplomas. Ms. Newman and Dr. Downing, could you please come forward to assist with that presentation? Mr. Bartholomew, as principal of Kearsarge Regional High School, I present to you the class of 2018 and certify that they have met all graduation requirements set by the Kearsarge Regional School District and the great state of New Hampshire.
Leslie Elizabeth Elise Angus. Julia Elaine Baldessaro. Jake David Bears. Daniel Charles Boyer. Callie Bechtold. Mason Paul Benedict. Marcy Nicole Bowman. Sydney Elizabeth Boyer. Rachel Hannah Bro. Samuel Aiden Brooks. Jordan Thomas Breik. Kayla Gabrielle Budd. Daniel William Nestor. Hunter Lloyd Burns. Raymond Cabral III. Brian Christopher Callahan. Nathan J. Carby. William Thomas Chadwick. Bailey Robert Christensen. Jacob Charles Cornelio. Nicholas Scott Cody. Madison Corser. Christoph Talbot Cortine. Jacqueline Marie DeAngelis. Joshua Paul Delorier. Max Delorier. Jasmine Marie Douglas. Cole Benjamin Doobie. William Ryan Ellis. Caitlin Beth Emery. Angel M. Filipponi. Madeline Elizabeth Fish. Georgia Rose Flanders. Gage Higgins Fleming. Michael Edward Geary. Olivia Graham. Lindsay Marie Greenlaw. Jessica Ann Greenlaw. Brittany Ann Grillo. Margot Maria Guyon. Austin Henry Hardy. Andrew Robert Harris. Z. He. Morgan H. Hemphill. Sean Michael Higgins. Catherine Pearl Horn. Matthew Edgar Hubley. Rex John Roland Jenna, Jr. Samuel Andrew Johnson. Thomas Johnson, Jr. Alexander Joseph Kalpagian. Joseph Evan Keeley. Hayden Meredith Keene. Madison Knight. Mason Box Kaharski. Samuel Durgan Kulaks. Aaron To Lee. Jacob Kyle Lipscomb. Sarah Shepard Long. Jessica Rose McDowell. Elizabeth Rose Maddox. Joel Andrew McGee. Nicholas Michael Malika. Taylor Matos. Alexis McConnell. Rowan Michael McCullough. Connor Patrick Marhar. Samuel Young Meeting. Quinn William Miller. Joshua David Minnie. Logan Christian Montmany. Alyssa Nicole Moss. Callista M. Murray Hager. Dylan Thomas Needham. Nicholas Reed Nestor. Solomon August Newart. Rachel Maria Nunes. Alana Marie O'Keefe. Ailish Catherine O'Leary Austin. P. Damian Petrie Jr. Sarah Michelle Pierce. Lydia Margaret Pinard. Bennett Kennedy Pitts. Caitlin Elizabeth Prescott. Evan Conrad Reichley. Stanley Kyle Reno. Jessica Nicole Richardson. Jonathan William Richter. Christian A. Rocca. Kaya Mercedes Rogers. Molly Ann Rorick. Jonathan Charles Rule, Jr. Katie Michelle Santee. Sapanika Sapari. Emma Catherine Sourwine. Graydon Esty Sourwine. Michael David Schubert. Isabel Victoria Seabury. Logan Edward Seaholm. Jacqueline Rose Seminara. Abigail Constance Seward. Samuel S. Shane. Samuel Ryan Shields. Ian Michael Simmons. Lawrence Leonard Sliger. Eleni Soliotis. Kevin Robert Stasilovich. Benjamin Stewart. Laura Isabel Stokes. Joseph Thomas Storozik. Rachel Ann Swindell. Ethan Thompson. Noah A. Tucker. Tomasa Rose Tucker. Noah Ann Waldron. Frances Elaine Walker. Hunter George Wells. Kirsten E. Westerberg. Karis Rose Wheatley. Levi Wilson. Shane Brian Wilson. Isabella Rose Von Baron, Class Secretary. Taylor Page Albright, Class Treasurer. Samuel Dean Lick, Class Vice President. Natalie Stryker Soule, Class President.
At this point of our ceremony, I'd like to welcome Natalie Soule, the president of the class of 2018, to issue the Senior Challenge to the class of 2022, and then we will have the transition of our class banners if they will stay up, and then Natalie will give her presidential speech. Oh, there she goes.
First, right? Okay. Okay, at this time I would like to invite Rainey Smith to the stage to accept the Senior Challenge. Rainey is the president of next year's freshman class, the class of 2022. I would also like to invite our current class presidents, Nina Spinney, class of 2021, Ed Stoll, class of 2020, and Jared Fortier, class of 2019. class of 2018 challenges you, the class of 2022, to continue to foster the value of learning and to pursue academic excellence. We challenge you to maintain the established strong tradition of excellence in both the arts and athletics. Finally, we wish you the best of luck in your 4 years at Kearsarge Regional High School. Rainey, does the class of 2022 accept our challenge?
The class of 2022 accepts your challenge.
Present the class of 2022 banner to Rainey. Wow, okay. Where is it? It's under? Okay. Definitely not a good idea. There you go. Okay, welcome to Kearsarge Regional High School. I present to you the class of 2018 banner to be retired in the archives of Kearsarge Regional High School. Thank you, class officers, for your assistance today. Thank you. Okay, good morning. Thank you for venturing onto our football decimated field today for a glimpse into the culmination of your child's high school career. Many of the students would agree with me when I say that our time at Kearsarge has been an interesting one. Despite Hayden Keene, our valedictorian, we don't officially have one, but she's the top of our class. Congrats, Hayden. The years 1999 and 2000 were busy for our parents. Not even Y2K could have prevented us from making our appearance in the world. Speaking of odd things, despite our class's relative inactivity over the past few years, we've managed to make an impression on everyone, from our beloved mashed potatoes to needing to hit the weight room. Our class has truly left administration in disbelief. It's an inside joke, parents and honored guests. You wouldn't understand. We barely do. One thing I've continuously heard while nearing our graduation is that I'll miss high school. While most of these remarks were met with laughs, eye-rolling, and yeah, rights, I do think that we'll look back on this time in our lives, perhaps our minds blanking on names, but remembering the interesting times and people our class consisted of. How about those great times during Winter Carnival? Humiliating, but awesome. I think of our future with hope. Hope for dedication and grit after witnessing the amazing athletic achievements by our student athletes. Hope for the beauty of arts and literacy after seeing the dedication of our artists and writers, who I'm sure will go on to leave their mark on this changing world. Hope for imagination, creativity, and perseverance for our future engineers. Hope for our future politicians, that they keep it real and unselfishly serve their country. Hope for caring for others and in their time of need by prospective doctors, nurses, and healthcare workers. Hope for our nation and the brave men and women that are going on to the armed forces or becoming first responders. Hope that we'll all find our place in life, no matter what path we take to get there, whether it be in the weight room or not. We will always carry a bit of hope and Kearsarge wherever we go in life. I'd like to share with you a bit of advice that I got while voraciously reading the Harry Potter series. A quote from J.K. Rowling. "It is impossible to live without failing at something unless you live so cautiously that you might as well have not lived at all, in which case you fail by default." Class of 2018, I have hope that you will live life to its fullest so that we're going to meet back here in 10 years at our reunion with some cool stories to tell each other. So despite narrowly avoiding failing our A1 competencies, we've made it. Congratulations, class of 2018. We did it. I now ask class marshals Gabriella Von Barron and Corbin Montminy to assist me in the switching of the tassel. At this time, I ask my classmates to stand. I proudly present to you the graduates of the class of 2018.
You can be seated. Class of 2018, the time is drawing near. The time to say goodbye is upon us. I've spent the past several weeks trying to organize a few thoughts to share with all of you today. And as tradition calls for, there should be stories, famous quotes, life lesson reminders, and thanks for a job well done. All or most of those items may or may not be mentioned in these final thoughts. It's interesting, as I sat here today and listened to the wonderful folks who spoke with you, none of which I don't believe got together to write their speeches today, yet all had a common theme about change and status quo. Oddly enough, as I sat in the office this morning at about 6:45, still trying to put thoughts to the paper, the words status quo came to mind. I want to take a moment to address that common theme because it's come up a lot here in the Kearsarge Regional School District over the last couple of years, particularly as we have made changes here to our academic offerings and how we structure things and how we recognize folks. Many conversations have taken place as to what I would define, as I mentioned, the status quo. Most of us live in the status quo. Status quo is comfortable. It's cozy and warm and fuzzy. I and you understand status quo because we know the rules. We know the boundaries of most of all, the loopholes to get around things. If we stay at status quo, my output and my expected production will never fluctuate, and I can continue to be good. This is where the aforementioned famous quotes and important, inspiring quotes come into play. Good is the enemy of great. I want you all to be great. Great dads and moms, great friends and co-workers, great explorers and thinkers over the next 50 years. None of that is possible with good. Status quo, you say. Keep it the same. Let's look at that for a moment. Anybody standing to my right, sitting, to my right or left in the graduating class of 2018, if you could just raise your hand if you were in the following things that we offer here: girls soccer, equestrian, football, hockey, and lacrosse. If you could put your hands up if you participated in those things. None of your hands would be raised right now if we stayed with status quo, if we didn't change. Exploration outside of the classroom at Dartmouth Medical Center, job shadows at local businesses. Many classes and teachers that you share your days here would not be here if we stayed with the status quo. Jim Collins is an American author and a lecturer on the subject of company sustainability and growth. I was reading his book one day, Good to Great, and I came across this one passage that I feel sums up my hope for you all. When what you are deeply passionate about, what you can be best in the world at, and what drives your economic engine come together, not only does your work move towards greatness, but so does your life. For, in the end, it's impossible to have a great life unless it is a meaningful life. It is very difficult to have a meaningful life without meaningful work. Perhaps then you might gain the rare tranquility that comes from knowing that you've had a hand in creating something of intrinsic excellence that makes a contribution. Indeed, you might even gain the deepest of satisfactions, knowing that your short time here on earth has been well spent and that it mattered. Class of 2018, believe it or not, through all the changes, all the struggles, all the times that you think that we got it wrong, all the times that you think I and others laid in bed at night thinking up ways to disrupt your life beyond repair, trying to ruin your chances to get into a good school, or wouldn't let you leave with senior privileges on a snowy day, or move to a competency-based system to expand the opportunities for you to show what you know in wonderful ways that don't involve paper and pencil and regurgitating meaningless facts and dates that will not help you get a job, unless you're a historian, and allow students with extraordinary ideas and knowledge to find different paths to success. Whatever your feelings and emotions are leaving here today, please know that all we have ever wanted is to hope that you get a time where you know that your short time here on earth has been well spent and it mattered. Folks, I'm 100% okay with change. For those that may feel our school isn't quite good enough, for those folks around the country and maybe even our capital city that think public education is faltering, doesn't offer quality, doesn't produce the best of the best, I say this. To my left and right sit actors and actresses, future educators, athletes, musicians, extroverts and introverts, politicians, those that go with the flow, those who challenge the status quo, college-bound and career-ready individuals. Thank God some of you want to be mechanics, plumbers, electricians, and chefs, and some of you may be small business owners. And there are those here that are also ready to put their lives on the line for freedom in the various branches of the military. They are all really, really good. And they're all going to be great. It was mentioned to me last night after the senior award ceremony that if you take the scholarships that we're giving to this group and you combine them with the military awards that were given in the ROTC programming, the young men and the women sitting in front of you have managed to secure over $1 million of academic scholarship money this year. I'm proud that our school has asked for better than good. As we prepare to bring the ceremony to a close and say our goodbyes for now, I'd like to leave the class of 2018 with my hopes for your future. Use your strengths and resources to help those in need. There are people you have yet to meet in this life that will benefit from your kindness, your compassion, and your caring. Give it often, give it freely. Give your effort, help, and support without expecting anything in return. Don't demand anything, earn everything. Own it. Good, bad, indifferent, own it. Don't let a job or career define you or your worth in the world. Embrace all challenges, obstacles, roadblocks, and struggles, for only then will you find your true inner strength. May you always see the goodness in people and yourselves. May you have good health and find prosperity. Remember that dreams coming true don't mean much if you slept through life. And in the words of Dr. Martin Luther King, the time is always right to do right. Please know that your place at KRHS and our family will always be alive. The door will always be open, and the welcome home will always be warm. Class of 2018, you entered ready to learn, and you leave ready to serve. I thank you all for your passion, your intellect, your willingness to be patient in times of change, and your commitment to your school, your community, and most of all, to each other. I would ask that you would all stand, please. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pride that I present to you for the last time the graduating class of 2018. I once again invite Bill McKinley to lead our procession out of today's ceremony. We are going to ask that all members of the audience stay seated until the graduates have left. This concludes the 48th commencement exercises at Kearsarge Regional High School. Congratulations, class of 2018.
YCN Special is brought to you by Beltate's Building Product Specialist. No matter the projects, their experts will get you the materials you need. Baba's Bar and Grill. Baba's has all your favorites and much more. MJ Harrington and Company, jewelers and designers since 1948. Ledyard National Bank, plan well, live well. And by New London Recreation,